Hi, Kevin Coop here, and this is FaceTime with the Content Guy. So, yesterday we posted a letter from a 22-year-old morning newsbeat reader, and I can't tell you how much we love having 22-year-old morning newsbeat readers, that talked a little bit about the generation gap that sometimes exists in companies. And this is what he said in part. He said, "We have been trained via texting, social media, and even the way school is now structured to receive immediate feedback, which oftentimes is focused on the positive versus the negative. To capture the talent that the younger generation has, I think, it is extremely important for managers to understand the need for feedback. I think that really is all it can take to bring out the talent in young professionals." Well, I wish it were that easy, but it was a very interesting email, and especially coming after a Michael Sansolo column on the same subject. And I thought about it because I've had some encounters lately with business leaders along the same line that have sort of described an interesting problem that they're facing. So what's happening is these business leaders, what they're trying to do is they're trying to be 21st century leaders. And in their organizations, they're basically trying to, flatten them out. What they're trying to say is, listen, we don't need a bureaucratic structure. We don't need all the leadership to come from the top. I want to create as much as possible a flat structure so that there's input coming from every place and everybody feels invested in the organization. I think we can be more successful that way. But what's interesting is they get young people, right? And young people get hired for jobs, and yeah, they're looking for constant feedback, but they're also looking to feel like they're progressing within their organizations. That means they're looking for promotions, sometimes just little promotions. They don't need a big one. But, with a certain amount of regularity, they want to go from the assistant to the associate, whatever it happens to be, because that's where they feel like, A, they're being successful, and B, their contributions are being recognized. So you see the problem? You've got young people in an organization who are trying to climb up the organizational chart at a time when the leaders at the top are trying to flatten the organizational chart. It's a basic dichotomy that is affecting a lot of different companies. And I found this really, really interesting. Now, I have to be honest, I don't have a solution for this. It's certainly not an easy solution. I don't think one comes to mind. It is, in fact, a generation gap, not the kind of generation gap that, I had, say, with my dad a long time ago when the only thing we could talk about was baseball. But it is a generation gap nonetheless, and I think companies have to pay real attention to it. Now, one of the ways in which I think you can address it is by trying to create a culture in which people are paying more attention, say, to responsibility than to titles. That's a hard thing to do, much easier said than done. And I think, as always, it's incredibly important to create a culture in which people feel like the company is investing in them, not viewing them as just a cost against the bottom line, a cost that can be eliminated when times get tough. Again, that's easier said than done. But to paraphrase the great Finley Peter Dunne, business ain't beanbag. Anyway, that's what's on my mind this Thursday morning, and as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.